Hello dear viewers, my name is Nino and you're watching Nino's product reviews, and today we're going to take a look at the FI9961EP camera from Foscam. Now this camera is supposed to be vandal proofed, and I do say supposed to be, but it actually is, because it has an IK rating from 10. Now just a short explanation about those IK ratings if you don't know what they are. Basically they do a special test, and it has to give a certain result to get that standard rating. The IK rating is divided from 1 to 10 plus, 10 plus being the highest. 10 is the second highest rating, so this is a really strong device in any case. Now in case you're wondering how exactly they test them, they drop a 5 kilogram object from a height of 40 centimeters on top of the camera. Now for those of you not versed in a metric system, that would be a little bit over 11 pounds from a height of 15.7 inch. And the camera has to survive this without breaking, and this has happened. This is the IK10. For IK10 plus, they drop a 10 kilogram object, which is basically twice as much, or would be about 22 pounds, a little bit more. But this is not the case. So this is an IK10 camera, meaning that it can withstand a lot of weight, 5 kilos or 11 pounds from a height of 40 centimeters or 15.7 inch. Other than that, the camera actually feels really nice. It has a metal body and a reinforced plastic dome at the top of it, but it does have some drawbacks. Now first of all, it does look like any other dome camera, but what you will find out is first that it has no tilt on pan functionality. Also you do get this tiny thing in the box, and you need it to unscrew the camera. This will not void your warranty, because you actually need to open it in order to insert a micro SD card. Now I have already done that, and you see me here clumsily trying to just unscrew a little bit, because I didn't want it to be completely open. It just looks stupid, so I wanted to do a little bit of opening motion at least, so you get an idea. There are 3 screws. You need this special part here, and when you remove the top of the camera like this, be very careful. There's a cable attached to it. Don't rip it, don't pull suddenly. You still want this thing to be there. Now you'll notice that the micro SD card slot is at the bottom over there. I will show you in a moment in detail, but there's something else that you need to consider. As you can see, my camera is slightly tilted to one direction, and you can adjust this however you like. It has a wide angle lens, and you have to actually unscrew 2 more screws in there in order to be able to adjust the angle at which your camera is going to stay. And for that, you're going to just need a standard screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, or in this case I believe I used a flat one. The screws allow you for a pretty flexible option here, so that's pretty good, but you will not find it in the package, so you need at least 1 screwdriver. And as you can see, I have already loosened them, and as you can see, the right one even turns it already, but if it wasn't the case, I would have just used my hand to do that. I wanted to show you this because you need to know how to do this in order to operate the camera, and I thought might as well, right? So we're gonna move in on the software part of everything, and I'm gonna show you how the camera looks when operated from your PC. Now this is the first thing I want to mention here is that I don't like mobile applications for these cameras. It's a personal thing of mine. I just do not enjoy them, and thus I don't use them. But as you can see, the quality of the recording is very good. We have 1080p, we have a very wide lens. You can select the mode. There are different ones, 50 Hz, 60 Hz outdoor mode obviously, and the stream, I prefer the user defined one here because it's 1080p at 25 frames per second. This is the best one. Now be aware, this camera does not offer Wi-Fi, so if you're going to use it, you might as well go all out, unless you are accessing it from outside your network. Then of course you'd want to use a different stream. It does have WDR, which is basically an HDR for cameras. You see it's a little bit grainy because my room is currently well illuminated. And the NNA is the network auto adaptability, is basically a function which allows your stream to lower or increase the quality depending on how fast your connection is. This can be very useful, especially with Wi-Fi cameras. Since I'm currently viewing it through a LAN connection, this is absolutely not relevant for me. And then of course you have the mirror function and the flip function. Now the flip function being if the camera is mounted head down, which makes sense because it's a dome camera and you would want to mount it like this optimally. And of course the mirror function is, for example, if you for some reason the camera is facing a mirror and is thus checking the stuff that's reflected into a mirror, if you want a realistic image, you're going to use the mirror function. You have zoom here, but it's not optical zoom. It is just a software zoom. And of course you can modify the R LEDs and also the the different kinds of colors and other adjustments. I will not mess with that because everything's working just fine the way it is right now, so no need for that. Other than that, as I've already mentioned, you can see that the stream just really looks great. It isn't blurry in my opinion, it's just really good stream. So we're gonna take a look at the settings of the camera, and of course I'm gonna skip around the status and most of the basic settings because they're obvious, like camera name, camera time, but there are a few very important ones here that one needs to consider now. With the camera time, there used to, for some users in the past, be a problem where they would not receive their emails for some reason, and this would happen due to the computer on which the camera is set up having a different time. So what you can do is just manually set it up to take the time from the computer. You can use several cameras. As you saw, I had the R2 as well for this test. And here are your mail settings, and the mail settings are very important because you're gonna need to set it up and test it in order to get information like pictures and other notifications on your email. FTP settings, of course, as well. I personally use a USB stick which is plugged into my router, and the videos are saved there. This allows me to turn off the computer without having to use local storage or an SD card for the actual video saving. And as we go on to the video, you see we have the two main video stream modes. We have the HD mode and the substream. Now again, I'm explaining this in case you are curious why we would need a substream. If you are accessing your camera from outside your home network, and you're, for example, trying to do it on your phone or on another device whose internet speed is not that high and not that good, or you want to save bandwidth, that's the way to do it. You're going to log in with the lower stream and still just see if your cat's in the room or your dog's in the room and not doing anything bad, or if anyone else isn't in there who's not supposed to be. Now, the privacy zone is a very nice feature and basically allows you to cover up part of the screen for whatever reason. This is an outdoor camera. I'm testing it inside right now, but you know, mainly you will use it outside. And for example, if it's facing your neighbor and you don't want your neighbor to be visible in it because he might get angry about that, and for other reasons, who cares, you want the part of the video to be covered. The neighbor example is a pretty realistic one, but people might have different ones. This is the way to go. You just cover up an area and the camera will not see it, not record it. It will be a black spot like it was. So that's pretty cool. You can then call your neighbor and say, hey, look, I'm not recording you, it's facing you, but I have blacked you out, so there's no problem there. We have manual snapshot settings, which will basically program the camera to take pictures at specific times that you set. On the IR LEDs, you can set them up to start at different times or leave them as they are, as I am, because they actually work very well. Then you move on to the motion detection, and this is where it gets interesting. I personally really like this function here. You have a trigger interval, camera sound. This camera does not have a camera sound because it does not have a speaker, but the PC sound will work. So if your PC is on, and it is actually on this page as I'm right now, you know, if it's connected to your camera and you have opened its IP and something happens, your PC will make a screaming sound to alert you. So it can be useful if your PC is working all the time and you have this open in your browser. Other than that, you have the standard functions like push messages to the phone, recording, send email, which is really useful. So all in all, I'm pretty satisfied with the motion detection of this camera. It seems to be very sensitive. Then you have, of course, the option to set different storage locations and a local storage. The local storage, however, will only work if, again, your PC is on. It will not save onto the PC's hard drive if it's off. Now, the pre-record, and here I've set it off for 5 seconds, enables you to see 5 seconds before the actual event which triggered an alarm. For example, I'm coming home, I enter the room, alarm is triggered. When I take a look at the video, I'm actually going to see 5 seconds before that. The camera constantly records 5 seconds and loops them over until alarm is activated, and then it saves that onto the video file. So that means out of these 30 seconds video, I'm going to have 35 seconds, and the first 5 seconds will show nothing until I enter. You'll see suddenly the door opening, etc. But this can be pretty useful. So it's pretty good. Of course, you can set a certain local alarm recording time as well, which is different from the other one because this is saved onto your working PC. You have the scheduled recording. Here it is grayed out because I'm not using a micro SD card, and in this particular case I should have inserted one for this to not be grayed out, but it makes no difference. It is essentially a function that forces the camera to record on certain times on certain days. And of course, since there's no SD card inside right now, but I've shown you how to insert one, you can do that. Now, there isn't much here. You can activate a firewall which will filter certain IP addresses and not allow them to access the camera at any time. And I'm gonna move into the night vision. The night vision is pretty good. The lights are, you know, the RF blasters are really projecting a very clean and bright image for something like that. Anything within 10 to 15 meters will be easily recognizable thanks to the high resolution and the good IR technology used here. And that's pretty much it for this review. There isn't that much left to say here. As I'm stealing this Fos boy, that's the name of their mascot toy, I would like to tell you that if you're interested in buying this camera, I will leave links to Amazon leading directly to this product so you can take a look at the features and everything. I'd like to thank you a lot for watching my videos. I hope to see you on the next one. Have a great day, evening, or whatever time you're watching this video at.